Hello, everyone. You are listening to People Know Weight, the podcast for people. This is season 2, the all inclusive table. I'm your host, Tanya Sharma. Make sure to follow the podcast on your favorite audio and video platform. And we are still quite new, so please do leave a comment. Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of our new season, the all inclusive table. This is episode 17, and we are talking about the East West journey and the East West personality and the East West perspective. So, where did we sign off on our last episode? I was talking about my East West journey of becoming a reader in a family of non readers and then becoming a lawyer and making the East West journey from Assam to Delhi. In this episode, I'm going to talk about my East to West journey from Delhi to London and my journey of becoming an international lawyer. Now, let me be very, very honest. And I don't know what this honesty is going to cost me. But when I was young, I remember I was sitting in my school, not a school, my school back in Guwahati, and speaking to a friend in this big auditorium, discussing our career prospects. And this question came up: would you ever leave your country and go abroad? And I was one of those kids. I will never do it. I am a true patriot. I love my country. I'm going to stay here. But I still get up whenever I hear the national anthem. And I love the national anthem, the sound of it. So I was one of those kids. I never thought international opportunity was what something that I would want or I would aim for. I'm not exactly sure what the reason was, but in retrospect, I think the reason was I didn't exactly know what was on offer when you think of international opportunity, because I was in Assam in a good neighborhood with my friends, living a nice life. I didn't really think why I would need to leave my hills and mountains and rivers and go to a foreign country. I had no idea what that was, what life there was. And when I came to law school, I had no idea that you could also have these routes to go international or to sign up for these international opportunities. And when I came in, to my surprise, I heard that there's this whole concept of magic circle firms who run this internship opportunities for students in India. And I was like, wait, what is circle firms in London? And instinctively, I thought, well, maybe there's like a circle in London. I don't know why it's called Magic Circle, and there are these law firms that are arranged around this circle, and maybe that's why it's called Magic Circle. Obviously, it took me a few years to realize into my law school to realize Magic Circle had to do more with revenues than with the geography of their location, because they're all quite located quite differently. But anyway, that was the first time I heard that there was such a conduit available to students who wanted to go and create a career abroad, that there were these firms who were offering international job opportunities to students in India. And I was like, well, wow, that's great. But even then, I didn't instinctively feel drawn to it because I didn't know what it looked like. And I was quite focused on driving my career to creating what I wanted or getting what I wanted within my confines, like the geographical confines of what I had known, which was India. It was only later when I saw workshops being conducted by these firms in India, the training that they were delivering, the deals that they were talking about, the kind of exposure that they were talking about. And when I spoke to people who had gone and done that experience and had come back, I was like, there is something that this has to offer, and I need to rethink it. I need to stop being confined by my limitations and give this a shot, because there is a lot of growth that can be experienced if I cross that limitation and I decide to do something different. It was not easy, and it required me to attend a lot of workshops within my college, also sign up for a bunch of international competitions, go abroad to actually immerse myself in what was available or on offer outside. And when you see that, you are like, well, hey, that's the kind of training people at my age are getting abroad. those are the kind of opportunities they have exposure to. Why shouldn't I give it a shot? Now, here I want to just stop and discuss this thought process, which makes us think, why shouldn't I give it a shot? I think it's a bit difficult because time and again, I believe you're always put in circumstances or in places where opportunities present to us, but we may or may not decide to take them because we question ourselves and we question whether we are truly capable of taking it up or whether it will even be possible for us taking it up. And more often than not, so many people just don't apply. Like, look at so many people who come from, say, humble backgrounds, want to start their own business, they don't do it. And then there are stories of people who have done it and who have been wildly successful. So, what is it that distinguishes this set of people who decide that they are somehow limited by their circumstances, by their limitations, and this other set of people who just transcend these limitations and go on to achieve something truly remarkable and extraordinary? Honestly, I don't know what the answer to that is because I'm sure that answer is best given by people who have done that. But just in my circumstance, I don't think I would have ever applied for this directly if it was just me doing it, because at that point, I didn't know how to do it. Neither I think I had the required resources to carve that path for myself. So, how did it happen for me? I think at a very first level, I was glad that I was able to talk myself out of any limitations. And a good role there was that of my university, National University Delhi for sure, because the structure was set up in such a way that you had to perform and opportunities would open up for you, be it the kind of internships you were doing, be it the competitions you were doing, going for national or abroad, generous scholarships, I would say sponsorships, not just scholarship, which made it possible for people from different backgrounds to go and get exposure as long as they were willing to put in the work and they were performing. So if you were hardworking and if you performed, opportunities were available to you to go shine. And because I could get those opportunities, I was able to prepare a CV that I could sell in my interviews and land international opportunities, and eventually make an international career in London. So I definitely think here that all institutions who are have the option of giving generous sponsorships and scholarships should do it, because had that not been the case for me, I don't think I would have applied, or even if I would have applied, because maybe I have always had this thing, you should always apply. It would have been difficult for me to sell my CV or to get the kind of experience I needed to truly be confident that the decision I was making was the right decision, or to make an informed judgment, to observe people internationally, and to be there and be my authentic self in the interview, that I've seen what it's like and I'm willing to take the risk to move there, to experience the discomfort, to put in the effort and learn. So I definitely think that there needs to be uh, more of these opportunities for students in universities. And I know some universities are doing it, but I am a big proponent of it. But the other thing that I'm talking about, and I always tell anybody who asks me when they want to go to international, if they come from a place which they think is small, like a small city, like I don't think Guwahati is small, but it's different to Delhi. They feel, oh my gosh, should I apply or should I not? And my suggestion to them is you should always apply, because you just never know where that opportunity is going to lead you. And you never know if you don't apply. So I do think that sometimes the limitations that we pose for us are those that are within our minds, not so much created by people around us. There are limitations around us as well, but we can navigate those if we first overcome the limitations within our own mind. We need to stop telling ourselves what we should be doing, are capable of doing, not capable of doing, Because once we stop telling ourselves that, we may not know what is it that we are able to achieve. Like maybe you told yourself, I'm not sure I can be a lawyer. But maybe if you said yourself, why can't I be a lawyer? Let me give it a shot. Similarly, instead of telling yourself, I shouldn't apply for that international position, maybe just tell yourself, why shouldn't I apply for that international role? Maybe let me just give that a shot. And who knows, yours might be the story that ends up inspiring hundreds of other people to do exactly the same. That brings me to our extract for the day. And as you know, we're discussing the book by Ryan Holiday, Courage is Calling. Today, I'm reading out an extract from his chapter called You Can Beat the Odds. And this is at page number 180. It takes courage to look at the averages and say, I am not average, to say, somebody will be the exception, and it may as well be me. That's what courage is. In fact, there is no courage without bad odds, without a willingness to risk losing the job, the game, the deal, your life. If it was a sure thing, what would be brave about it? You have to realize that you are not average. You never have been. You are one of one. You have always had what it took to defy the odds. If you don't believe that, might you be reminded that your very existence is perhaps the least likely thing to ever happen? The odds of you being born, some scientists have estimated, are in the realm of 1 in 400 trillion, but in truth, this understates it. Consider everything that had to happen for your parents to meet, for you to survive, for you to find yourself here at this moment, thinking about what you may embark on. You are more than a miracle. You are a miracle on the spectrum of unlikely miracles, yet here you are. You're going to let the fact that unhindered success is rare deter you. You're going to let the mean tell you what you can and can't do. You're going to let them wear you down and convince you to play it safe, or not at all. That's not a recipe for living, for greatness, for goodness. Of course, you can't just disregard dangers because they are inconvenient, especially when other people depend on you. As we have said, the entrepreneur constantly taking those bet the company bets we talked about will eventually go bust. He or she may walk away to gamble again, but the employees will take the hit. Still, there is no escaping. Sometimes we must be brave enough to defy the odds, but we do this only when there is a real chance of success, and we do it rarely when we have no other choice. I think that is quite interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes when you listen to these quotes and when you read these things, they make you feel good in the moment, but then you are forced to think, is it all very theoretic? Because honestly, it's not easy. And as human beings, we are designed to crave safety. We all want what is comfortable because, well, to risk it or to do something that requires us to take a risk, a huge risk, is not comfortable because you risk not achieving it. You risk not getting that thing that you applied for. But sometimes you've got to weigh the risks. And as they say, it's less about what is the chance of losing, but more about the real prospect of success. Do you have a real prospect of success in doing something? And if you do, are you going to let it go just because you thought it was hard to do it? Sometimes I don't think it's worthwhile to keep knocking on a door that is never going to open. That's just you chasing something that has no real prospect of success. So there should be a summary judgment that tells you you cannot pursue this course of action in your life because you have no real prospect of success. And the right thing to do there is to take the risk of doing something entirely new. Now, that itself is a different story. But what we're talking here about is when you do think there is a real prospect of success on facts, but the only reason you don't want to accept it or don't make the move is because somehow you think in your mind it's not possible. And today we are concerned with that because it is possible for you to make that east west shift, not feel constrained by your resources, not feel constrained by your geography. Just go and make that application, provided you're surrounded by the right people, you are in the right institution, you have the right institutional opportunities, and you decide to go for that opportunity that is in front of you. Now, just as a closing note, if you are ever keen to do these interviews, there's so many people have spoken about it. These interviews are not easy. And that's just my perspective. I'm sure if tomorrow I bring in people to talk about these interviews, everybody can say how difficult these interviews are, the kind of preparation you need to do for it. Your interviews last for like 45 minutes, 2 hours of case studies. It's the same level of evaluation that's done for people abroad and that's done for people here. And in a way, that's the charm of it, right? Like, it's great to crack something that's super difficult and that is super competitive. Uh, that only comes and offers few spots to people, because when you are deciding to apply for something like that, you are exercising self-belief that I am worthy of this opportunity and I should be doing it. And in a way, you're also being quite cool about it. Like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? I will regret not applying rather than applying and perhaps not making it. So today's message is to not let any outside circumstance or any outside noise deter you from applying for the best, from taking that risk, because you never know. That risk might just give you, like, I don't know, be the springboard that you need to achieve other things in your life. And you might be someone whose story becomes exceptional, and you will be the person doing a video talking to other people and telling them how that one decision of yours to go beyond comfort zone changed